Hello children, I welcome you to the revision video of the chapter Understanding Modern History. So since your test 1 is fast approaching, so let's start. Now, what is history? History is basically the study of past. We have discussed about ancient period in class 6, medieval period in class 7. Here we shall be discussing about the modern period in class 8. So history is divided into 3 periods, right? And this is known as periodization of history. What is it called? Periodization of history. Dividing history into 3 parts: ancient, medieval and modern. Then there were various historians who tried to divide history. Like one was James Mill. He was a Scottish man and he wrote the book also. The name of the book was A History of British India. And there he divided history into 3 parts, Hindu, Muslim and the third part being British. Was it correct? Not at all. When he says Hindu period, were only Hindus there? When he says Muslim period, the medieval period, arrival of Turks, Afghans, were there only Muslims in the country? When he says British period, were there only Christians in the country? Then James Mill in his book A History of British India also wrote that before the arrival of the Britishers, India was a very backward country. It was not so. Rather, they colonized and they made India backward. They made India stagnant. The Britishers are responsible for poverty in India because for 200 years we did not progress. We remained a stagnant economy. Right? Now, now we say that history is divided into 3 periods: ancient, medieval and modern. Now many historians say that the British period, after the death of Aurangzeb, we say that we have modern period when the Britishers arrived. So many historians say that after the death of Aurangzeb, when the Britishers started ruling India, so that period should not be called the modern period. So after the death of Aurangzeb in 1707, we say that modern period began, and at that time Britishers were there. So many historians say that this period after the death of Aurangzeb in 1707 should not be called the modern period, because modern period was associated with democracy. There was no democracy in India. A modern period in the West was associated with development in science, technology, progress, industries. There were no industries in India. All the raw material was taken away from India to Europe. The industries were there and then it was converted into finished goods in those industries which were there in Britain and then again sold in India. So modern period in the other countries was associated with development, democracy. But these factors were not there in India. So they say that the period when the Britishers ruled, that should not be called the modern period, rather it should be called the colonial period. Now what do you mean by colonial? Or what do you mean by colonization? Now, colonization means subjugation of one country by the other. When one country rules the other country, subjugate the other country, and why does it subjugate? So that it can use the resources of the other country. It can exploit the resources of the other country. It can take advantage of the resources of the other country. This is what the Britishers did. They took away wealth from India. They took away timber from India because they needed timber to make railways. They needed timber to make ships for their royal army. So this is what they did. Then of course dates in history are important. We should always arrange the events in a chronological order so that we can understand history better. When I say chronological order, that means all the events should be arranged in the according to the dates, according to the time they occurred. They should be arranged systematically. Certain dates are very, very important. Like I said, after the death of Aurangzeb in 1707, some historians call it modern period. So 1707 is very important. This day, then this year is very important. Then 15th August 1947 is very important. So dates are very, very important, and the historians say a historian who studies about monuments give importance to the day on which the monument was built. But say Another historian who is studying about wars, battles, might give importance to the dates of the battle. So, which date you give importance to depends upon your interest, right? But then the dates are important, and the events should always be arranged in chronological order. Now, Britishers ruled over such a vast country, of course, because they were very, very systematic in their approach. How were they? They were well documented. What do I say? They were well documented. They were very, very systematic in their approach. They had everything in the written form, be it the farmans, be it the orders, be it the surveys. Everything was there in a very, very systematic manner. All the notes, everything was there in the written form. They had archives where they kept all the important documents. They preserved. We have National Archive of India in New Delhi, and National Archive of India in New Delhi was set up in 1920s, and it is of great importance because it has all the important documents of the colonial period, and they give us a lot of information about the British rule, Farmans. Then there is also a National Museum in New Delhi. So National Archive is there, then we have a museum also, and in museum history is reconstructed. All the episodes like Jallianwala Bagh and others are shown, right? They are shown. They are they are say displayed through exhibitions, and the Britishers did lot of survey also. The Britishers knew that they could not rule such a vast country without proper study of the country. So they did proper surveys. They wanted to know India so that they could rule India better. So they surveyed about India. When they surveyed about India, they made detailed maps of India. They made detailed maps so that they could understand that from which place they could get what. See, when the Britishers came to India, they did not like the weather of India. So they surveyed India to understand the country better. Then they prepared detailed maps, and then they got to know that there are certain places which are there in higher altitude. They can be converted into hill stations so that they could enjoy weather similar as in Europe. So they founded Shimla, which they made their summer capital. Lord Dalhousie founded Dalhousie because they did not like the weather conditions here. So they prepared detailed maps so that they could understand that those hill stations could be developed where they could grow tea, where they could live, where they could enjoy good weather. So, and then they tried to understand soil of India so that they could understand where they could grow tea. Actually, tea was introduced by the Britishers only. Tea was not known in India. They surveyed India so that they could understand which climatic conditions were suitable for them, so that they could understand which soil was formed, where they could grow tea, where they could grow indigo for their own advantage. Then they held census. Census is the study of population. What is census? Study of population. It is done after every 10 years in India, and this census was also conducted by the Britishers. It was conducted after every 10 years, and we follow the same practice. They tried to understand what people did, which religions they followed, so that they could put people against each other. They could follow the policy of divide and rule. So for that they did proper study. Then they got various monuments built, of course, for their own advantage. Like if I say Victoria Terminus in Mumbai, if I say Victoria Memorial in Kolkata, Fort William in Kolkata, Rashtrapati Bhavan in New Delhi, Shimla, they all were founded by the Britishers. Shimla, their summer capital. However, the documents that we have in the National Archive of India and the National Museum, whatever information, means National Archive of India, whatever information that we have, whatever documents that we have, besides that also, we need some more documents. Why some more documents? National Archive of India contains the documents which were issued by the Britishers. Now, those documents tell us about the policies from the British point of view. They never wrote anything bad about themselves. Their policies, of course, had a bearing on the Indians. Indians were unhappy during the British rule. They did not write about all these things. They wrote in appreciation of themselves. There are farmans. But then, to know more about the condition of the common man, we need books of that period. We need, the books which were written by the foreign travelers other than the Britishers who visited India. Like Max Muller came to India, Vincent Smith came to India. They all wrote. Jawaharlal Nehru wrote about India. Gandhi ji wrote about India. These books are also very important because they present the perspective from the Indian point of view. How were the people? How was the condition of the people? What was the plight of the people during the colonial period? Then the newspapers which were issued by the Britishers, they always talked about the goodness of the Britishers. However, there were certain newspapers which were started by the Indians. Those newspapers are of great importance for us because they tell us about the British period from the Indian point of view. Like Raja Ram Mohan Roy, he started the first newspaper in Persian language that was called Miratul Akbar. So Raja Ram Mohan Roy started with a newspaper which was called, that too in Persian language, the first newspaper in Persian language that was called Miratul Akbar. Miratul Akbar. Then Bal Gangadhar Tilak started with a newspaper called Kesari, and then Maharatha. Kesari was in Marathi, Maharatha was in English. Then there are various maps, photographs which have been prepared by the Indians, and they give us a lot of information. In fact, the paintings, and then there were various songs which were published, which were sung during that time to create patriotism. All those songs are there in All India Radio Archive. Now this archive is also very important. It contains all the poems and the songs, right? And they tell us about the British period. So to understand British period, to understand the plight of the common people, we need these invaluable documents as well. With this, I wind up and request